My wife has a video of you, Jeremy, drinking, and there's absolutely nothing in your glass, but you're just like flowing it.
Hell yeah. Every last drop, man. Every last
drop. Not going to waste it. Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. I am Josh Henning.
I'm Phil Gerber.
I'm Jeremy Gerber.
Welcome to Oil and Whiskey with the Roadster Shop, an Ironclad original. This is a very special SEMA recap. We're going to talk to a few big-name builders, some of the guys that were really shaking it up, making waves, you know, on the gas, as they say.
Is that what they say and how they say it?
We say it.
I think you say it.
We don't say it that way.
No.
As you can see, Josh at SEMA obviously picked up a new radio voice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Speaking of new radio voices, perfect segue. Got a little something special for you guys.
Oh.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That is quite the T-shirt you got there.
At that.
Well,
Wow.
Phil, when you become famous, you have fans that stop by. Like to bring gifts.
FGL?
Yep.
What does that stand for?
For girls' love.
Or guys.
Or Florida Georgia line.
It's
That
yeah.
shirt sucks. That's a fucking terrible shirt. Dude, he's wearing
Teddy brought this by.
He's wearing a Johnny Cash shirt on the shirt. What do you
That
think
sucks
Johnny
for Johnny
Cash
Cash.
would think of that dude?
He'd probably say some things you're not supposed to say anymore in today's time.
Which guy is it? What's his name? The one on your right, my
I
left,
think that's Florida.
and then Georgia
That's
line.
Georgia line.
Move over a little. Let me see Georgia line. Oh,
He's
Like kinda like Walker and
he's got a
TR.
little like Rebecca look.
He's a
about
little
him.
pretty.
Almost
He's a
looks
little prettier than a guy should be. I promise you that. Yeah. Hey, a fan dropped it off. Teddy said he loved the podcast. Brought me shirts even my size.
It doesn't look like your size.
This sucker might actually get in the rotation.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that more often.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I bet you would.
Wow, look at you.
Yep.
Look
It's
at
got the
it.
tour dates on the back of
Turn
it. too.
around. Let me see.
Which concerts were you at?
Oh, damn. That's a lot of touring.
Yep. I'm regretting.
Where are they
this.
landing anywhere in the Midwest that you
Broke
planned?
up.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, Josh has been in a shitty mood for weeks.
that's why you've been all pissy?
One was doing a TikTok video. The other one wouldn't do a dance in there with him, and that was over. After that, big breakup.
Was it one the guy like one was snoring or something? The other guy couldn't deal with it anymore.
No more shitty auto-tuned. Yeah.
No, enough about those guys. We're here to talk about the SEMA show, aren't we?
We are. SEMA recap. I think this is probably the first drink of alcohol we've had in about 5 or 6 days since the SEMA show.
I've been shaking, waiting for this.
A little bit of recoup. A little bit of recuperation.
Much needed.
Yeah. It was a great show, though.
Phenomenal show.
Anybody that wasn't there, you missed out. Because it was awesome.
SEMA 2023.
Yep. It seems like ever since COVID, everybody's kind of been like, oh, man, I think it's going to be down. I think it's going to be big. It might be the same. It's just a lot to talk about. Is SEMA back? Is it coming back? What about the vendor? I heard Big Johnson's not going to be there. You know, what's that's going to look like on the show floor?
I thought it was great. It was solid.
It was.
And the show floors, the layout's fantastic. Everybody's kind of gotten over not seeing the big blue Ford wall at this point. And Toyota, I mean, like to see Ford there, but Toyota put together a nice little booth, and it's spread out now. You know, with the new hall, all the 4x4 truck stuff. If it felt light, I don't know what the attendance actually was. I'm sure we could reach out to somebody that tracks that. But I'd imagine it had to have been on par with last year. It's just so spread out now, which is kind of good because you can make your way around it.
Aisles are a little bit bigger. You can actually walk and not be bulldozing people trying to get through or take 20 minutes to get to the front to the back.
The exhibitor pass is where it's at, though. That 1 hour in the morning gets it done. I mean, like clockwork, you can cover those aisles, see everything you need to see.
Yeah, it does make it a little nicer. Not as nice when you fighting a little bit of a hangover, but still, nonetheless.
Those Mike's Hard Lemonades caught up to you?
Yeah.
Was it like a sugar high, or was it what was going on? Acid reflux, or
heartburn from that lemon.
No,
I don't drink those types of things.
With that shirt on, you're telling us you don't drink those types of things.
Was it a twisted tea or a hard cider that I don't remember?
Red's apple ale.
Okay, got it.
I can get down on some Red's apple ale.
Well, what stood out to you there, Josh? Because there's some cool shit, I thought.
There was. I think there was some people pushing the envelope on some style things, which is good to see. There's sometimes in years past, you're like, oh, there's a lot of nice cars there, but really nobody was just like putting their balls on the line, stepping out there and doing something a little bit different. But I think we saw that this year. I think we saw some stuff that was a little bit different genres, a little bit different eras of vehicles, and then build style. I think, people think starting to either have the confidence to do something a little different because they think it's going to be more widely accepted, or just kind of saying, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do what I want to do. But there was some cool shit. We had, we brought the party back. So with that, we had to do top 5 for best on RS. We've done top 3 in the past. So we said it was hard to do 3. Why don't we make it harder
And do 5.
Maybe 10 next year.
Yes.
It was
10. Once we get to 10, it'll probably be easier, because there's like more cars to be able to, pick. So,
yeah, but that's still which one makes it into
I know.
10, 11.
The 30, I think we had 30 plus to choose from. So that was cool. Really cool. There was, once we started going around Tuesday night and looking at everything, it was kind of like, oh shit, we got to like actually do this.
Yeah, that was
and
tough. It's
like pay attention and pick things and stuff like that.
Seems like a great idea up front, and then you're there. And
generally, I mean, like we said, we've done 3, and then this was going to be 5. Seemingly, before you get there, you're kind of like, oh, there's going to be a clear 5 that's going to be like, bam, those are the ones, right? Picking the winner is always hard. But picking 5, you're kind of like, there's going to be a kind of a clear-cut 5 that are just bangers for whatever reason. But there was more than 5. There was some sick-ass cars. And then we did the best on the rest. We did a top 3 there, and that proved to be challenging.
Picking the 3, the number 1 spot.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Fuck, that thing was
well,
cool.
It was. But there was some deliberation because there was some other stuff that was really fucking cool. But, I mean, just narrowing it down to 3 was difficult for best on the rest. Stuff that, got us for whatever reason. But it was fun. It was a fun-ass time. Good show. Great customers. Had fun kind of getting back in the groove, talking to everybody. And it seems like everybody's covered up. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got a shit ton of stuff to do.
The general consensus, I think, is that the industry is alive and well,
Yeah.
thriving.
General consensus is the party coming back for next year?
Mm-hmm.
Can we get those chassis a little faster? And everybody's busy. Those are 3 takeaways. And the answer to the first 2 would be maybe,
Probably.
for sure, for the second one, and yes for the third one. If you're following along at home, kids, maybe, yes, for sure.
How about product stuff? I didn't get to the new products. I was pretty covered up, but it seemed like
I walked through
products were light. Did it feel like that to you as far as new stuff goes?
Yeah, I didn't make it to the new products, but just looking at everyone else's booths, there wasn't a lot of like crazy new bangers that were being dropped. I think everyone's been so covered up with fulfilling existing orders. It's hard to come up with R&D and develop something new when you're backlogged and swamped as is.
Yeah, I mean, there was a shit ton of stuff over there. I mean, even bigger than probably what it was last year in the new products showcase, if you will. But, I mean, a new product could be the exact same intake that you've already built, just under a new application, right? So that's great for that subset of guys that needs it for, that AMC, 286, whatever motor that they're building. But for the general public, you're kind of like, oh, new product, that doesn't do anything for me. A lot of shit in the trailer stuff, some stuff in the EV world, which, of course, that's just like paper. And they show a picture of what could be, not real, tangible goods.
Wind powered.
Yeah.
It's just powered by the wind.
But I don't know if it's Maybe it is. Everybody's been so fucking busy fulfilling the orders that they've got. The industry's also like came a long way in the last 10 years. A lot of people have innovated and solved a lot of problems. Not saying there's not problems to be solved, but some of the problems that are out there are like hard ones. It's not like you can just be like, oh, we're going to build like 15-inch brakes. That'd be cool. Be different than anybody else has done.
So everybody's been so innovative. Everybody's checked off all the quick hits. The bar's been raised.
It is.
It seems like anything from this point, because there's good stuff out there now. Is that
Right.
That's kind of what you're getting at?
Absolutely, 100%.
The next step is tough. I get that. That's a good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think back
That's
about
a good point.
You know, even just 20 years ago, it was now you can install that brand new LS because I have a harness for it.
Yep.
Well, that's, you know, kind of been done, you know, so there's the new things out there now. I mean, new crate motors and stuff aren't like what they once were. So it's not like somebody's got a drop-in package for the new Z06 engine or a controller for the new DTC transmission or.
God, I wish
any
they
of that
would.
stuff. Yeah, that would be cool. But again, that's where I'm kind of getting at is like the badass shit that's out there.
It's getting tough.
It's getting tough. You know, it's getting tough. But I think that just raises the bar. You just people got to figure it out. Get out there and do things. I mean, we're doing it. We're going to come up with new shit, right?
We did.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we did.
We did.
We rolled out a pretty cool new product there.
We did.
Old Bronco Legend chassis.
Changing the game up in that market for sure.
It's good piece for the Bronco world. So many Broncos out there. So many people want to drive Broncos. I think that thing is going to be a game changer in the Bronco market, which Bronco market still seems like it's still booming. Damn, there must be more Broncos out there now than were produced, I'd
Right.
imagine. But
No, I think about that whole thing as more of, you know, an ideology and a launch that came with the full-size Legends, right? Now it's about applications and new applications and what other problem-solving parts that come along with those individual applications based on thing like the Bronco one obviously is going to have, you know, pedal assembly master booster setup that we've designed, developed, and we'll be manufacturing along with that chassis. But that's to solve a problem that didn't exist on the full-size truck, right?
Yep.
It was pretty easy to package master and booster with a variety of different off-the-shelf stuff. With that Bronco, a little different. The next one, which, you know, you've got other smaller off-road vehicle, SUV trucks, you know, Rangers, Ford Ranger out there. That's something to look at.
the
for sure.
Splash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you get into the 90s?
Yeah, I'd rock a. No, I'm gonna walk it back. Yeah, I
better
saw
borrow
him
his
walking
t-shirt.
that. I'm walking that back.
You went by the Toyota
I'd
booth, and I'd
drive a lifted
Everybody
F-150
knows-
with a supercharged big
Yeah.
block. Yeah, with motor like 38-inch
we
motors.
did see.
That's what I was gonna say.
On this is a little off topic, but Thursday morning we walked over to the West Hall just for a brief bit and looked at some of the off-road guys and the lighting stuff. And there was, I don't know whose booth it was. There was a crew cab OBS Ford, that white one,
Yeah.
lifted on Thornbirds, and
Hey.
holy shit,
Center lines and
it was badass.
The wheels were a little like bigger than what typically you would want diameter wise. So me and Josh kind of stood there next to each other. Both of us are staring at it, and neither one wants to say it right away. And I think it was just like kind of mumbled. Hey, that thing fucks pretty hard.
What do you
Yeah,
think, though? It was,
Holy shit, that's badass.
it just, you could hear it, like, you know, the sound that it makes, you know, going down the road. And
sound similar to a Nova.
no, it's just like,
How was it?
you heard
Is
it.
that like
Yeah,
idling?
One
or
time,
that's-
one time is all it gets.
What about when you like get into it?
No, I can't do it. You
That's
just do that one noise.
That's definitely an up. I don't know if I'd even call it an up and comer because it's here. You follow that New Jersey Truck King dude on
Yes.
Instagram?
Yeah.
He has got like some absolute kick-ass OBS Fords, crew cabs, single cabs, extended cabs. Awesome. And they're bringing some bucks, man. I mean,
I remember that steering wheel and that shifter like it
it-
did yesterday.
it's the absolute lack of, it's void of any style or detail.
Yeah.
It's like a doctor's office chair. Yeah.
Like a little Tykes, like Playmobil drive it home on the
That
inside.
you wrapped in like a gray felt.
Yeah.
The interiors, they're so bad that they're now like coming around. They sucked when they came out. I remember Dude had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the feeling, the detents?
What feeling? It's like you're going to rip the fucking shifter off.
Yeah.
It was like a 1/4-inch straw sticking out with a little like knurled plastic
rib thing
piece on the end. Yeah. Chevy was definitely way ahead of them in that OBS era. Like 95 Chevy Z71 versus 95 like OBS Ford truck.
Was it tow haul or overdrive on the end of the ship?
On the Ford?
Yeah.
I don't think they had tow haul.
Yeah. There was
Later.
the button on the end. I think maybe it was overdrive on the AODs. There,
I think it's old, like a little
There was
spritz of Old Spice comes out of the dash when you hit it.
there's a button on the end of those Fords. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Like
It's probably like windshield washers or something.
No, on the on the gear shifter.
Yeah. They always put stuff in weird spots on the Fords.
Yeah. The
at any rate, that's
any rate.
those are happening.
But on the Narrow Legends Bronco platform, that will go into now that we figured out how to package things in that size, that track width, that'll go over into Jeeps, Wagoneers, Cherokees, Scouts, Land Rovers.
There's a Cherokee Chief in the shop right now that is getting scanned. To be outfitted with one. And judging by this last SEMA, that's a popular vehicle. I dig them. We've got a 66 Survivor we've had sitting around for years, and it's a cool-ass truck. I mean, you got Andy and J-Rod.
Mm-hmm.
They busted that one out. This one's going to be a pretty high-end truck that Hendrix is putting it together. It's a thing for sure. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
I feel like that one was overlooked because it's such a cool package that you've got like a small wheelbase, kind of a narrow, agile truck, but 4 doors.
Right.
And that comes up more and more because I feel like we're dealing a lot more with like these 40 to 50-year-old dudes that all have like, they've got kids that are, it comes up
in the back.
Yeah, it
The
comes up a
pickup
lot.
truck's
Like,
little
oh
hard.
man, I'd love the pickup truck, but like, I like taking my kids with me. My kids love going in my cars and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good one to do it.
Bam.
It's not too big, not like a Suburban style where it's just so fucking big.
Yeah.
But
In comparison to the H2, how's the H2 Hummer? What do you think like track width and wheelbase is?
it'd be smaller than the H2 for sure.
So not something you'd be
More in
interested
line
in.
with
then?
your H3, would you say?
I don't have an H3, nor would I ever buy one. It's H1 forever. I would say it's small. What the fuck are we talking about?
I was making fun of you.
I know.
Yeah.
Shut up. The Jeeps, though, what you're like, they made those things for like 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
And they didn't really change. They should be. I don't know that market well. I know I like to look at them, but you'd think that they'd be fairly readily available. There should be a lot to pick from out there.
I think they're rusted away pretty good.
The Midwest ones for sure. The we have some decent childhood memories of a Wagoneer.
Ah, yes.
Feels
Good
good.
buddy growing up, John Butler, had the
old,
shaggin' wagon.
Old John Butler. Mom had the
Hi, John.
shaggin'. Hi, John. Shaggin' wagon, low back buckets, shag carpet, and she. What the hell were the dogs?
They had Max and Mia, 2 little Shih Tzus. They rode shotgun,
And John had to sit in
had
the
to
back.
ride in the back.
So it'd be like me, Phil, John Butler,
In the
John
back seat.
sitting in the back seat, 2 little dogs in the front seat. But it was a fucking wood grain shaggin' wagon.
Most people had to stop to get gas like once a week. John would have to stop and put oil in it once a week to keep it going.
But even those, it's fun. Like, is it the Jeep Heritage guy that's doing some in the 80s? The one we did here on the RS4R.
Yeah.
That was the early 80s, right? Mid 80s.
Yep.
Yeah, they ran from late 60s to mid to late 80s, right?
Something like that. Early ones had all kinds of cool trim and little emblems and badges everywhere. They were some cool shit.
Yeah.
And then Andy brings the heat with the Super Wagoneer, which
Yeah.
is like the ultimate Wagoneer. But now when a guy like Andy does something like that, now like it solidifies the fact that it's okay to build one. Like now it's cool,
Right.
For anybody who didn't want to take the chance or roll the dice or was like, oh, I don't know, are you going to get your money back out of this? Thanks to Andy.
You think he's going to get credit for this Wagoneer deal like he didn't get credit for the Bronco deal?
Oh yeah, he.
I don't know if we should give him that much credit.
Poor guy. Like Andy busted out the baddest ass Bronco like a decade before anybody built a Bronco.
Everyone's like, watch this Camaro. And then the next year, watch this Mustang. Nobody even, it was a cool ass thing, but it didn't
Nobody else was doing any four-wheel drive stuff to anywhere near that level.
Maybe he was the godfather.
It's visionary. His head's going to be huge after listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a hell of a show. Listener number 1.
Bill from Louisiana, how's it going?
Hey,
Any
Bill.
requests?
Is it Bill or William?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Let's get into something different.
Yeah.
Am I live?
We can hear you. Can't
You
see
are live.
Oh, you can't see me?
Nope.
Hold on. How about now?
We
There
got
we
you.
go.
There it is.
God, it is sunny in California.
Yeah.
Bill
It just
Ganahl,
shines on me all the time.
Shining star.
South City Rod and Custom. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good, dude.
You recuperated from the show yet?
I don't know that that's ever going to happen. I might be damaged for life from SEMA.
That
Know the
happens.
feeling. Know the feeling.
Yeah.
Smart enough to go back again next year and the year after and just keep doing it, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, we're kind of new, so it's we still have some optimism, and we're still young, we're still green.
Yeah, you got plenty of SEMA partying left in you yet. But.
Right.
So did you, when you're coming back from SEMA, did after flying high, did they roll out the red carpet and everything was just fucking awesome and rock star status coming back into the shop, or was there mass chaos and work to do?
There's always mass chaos and work. I'm not. Yeah. No. It's literally back to the grind. SEMA's fun. It's a nice break, but we got so much to do all the time that even when I'm at SEMA, I'm just thinking about what there's left to do at the shop. It's hard to enjoy yourself.
100%. And I feel like people from the outside looking in think like you go to SEMA, you got these bitchin' cars, win these awards, you're like in the public's eye, and you come back and
It's vacation and
yeah,
hang out.
but it is
Going to Disney World, doing the parade.
the second you cross that threshold into the shop that it's right the fuck back at it, isn't it?
It's reality. Yeah.
And then some. You know, it's usually you
You
get
a week of catch-up. That
2 weeks to catch up for being gone for a week. And must be nice out there at SEMA, having fun, seeing all those cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys had
Yeah,
a
but we
go ahead.
we got to get back in the shop and build more for next year is the problem.
You guys got something scheduled to debut next year?
So our calendar usually revolves around the Grand National Roadster Show, and we do the Good Guys Show in Pleasanton because it's just 15 minutes from our shop. So that's kind of usually what we plan our debuts around, but we'll definitely bring something to SEMA no matter what. It'd be fun to debut something there. So if it works out timing wise, we'll try to pull it off, but we don't have anything planned necessarily to debut there.
Well, I saw pictures of the 40 Ford truck just maybe 3 or 4 weeks before getting out there. I know you won the inaugural Truck of the Year out there at Pomona, which congrats, that's awesome. And you see it in pictures. We've been big fans of everything that you guys have built for a while. We've talked about it on the podcast a couple of times about some guys can pull it the fuck off with that look, and you do better than just about anybody we've seen. It's not forced. It's not, it's like you do it effortlessly. It's just kind of like, yep, that's the way it was done,
Thanks. That's a huge compliment. Thank you.
Instead of building something in the style, with a little bit of, lace work or something like that, with a nod to it, you've really done, it's almost like a restoration of, a late 40s, early 50s, custom. But anyway, really was happy to see that thing in person, and the three of us got to drool over it, and it was definitely one of those kind of like, fuck, that thing's just badass everywhere you look.
It's just perfect, man. I mean, the theme, the style, the era, it looks, and like the details wild, man. I mean, the quality, the execution, everything's like fucking spot on, but it looks like you could totally see that truck in like a late 50s Rod and Custom magazine. Like you pick that up, hop up, and that thing just looked like it is so like true to form. It's really well done.
It's
man.
like you're seeing it in color of what you would see in black and white, and you were wondering what the color of that truck was. You know what I'm saying? If you're flipping through an old small book, you know, right, and you're like, man, I wonder what it's lighter, so I wonder what, and it's like you were able to see that in, you know,
For sure.
like a time capsule.
Yeah, well, that's thanks. I mean, we're, you know, underneath and all the drivetrain and everything. Obviously, we're building stuff to be more drivable than they were back then. But yeah, in terms of the style and how we want them to look, absolutely, we're pulling from tradition, from a lot of nostalgia, you know, stuff on them. So that's great that it comes across that way. Thank you.
When did you start on that truck?
Probably about 4 years ago, which is abnormal for us. We usually build stuff within 2 years, you know, at the most. But Greg, the guy who owns it, he's one of those guys who really takes his time making all of his decisions. And so honestly, I'll throw him under the bus right now because of him. It took a little bit longer than it normally would. But all for the best, you know. That truck started out with, I had just a rendering in my mind. I don't even normally do renderings. I just kind of like see what I envision for a car. And if a customer needs something to see, then we'll make a rendering so that they can see it. But I had a rendering done for him because he was kind of, you know, not the color. I mean, he was kind of against doing it that color right from the get-go. And so it took years for me to convince him to paint the truck that color. And I know he's glad that he finally came around, and I'm definitely glad, because it'd be a cool truck, but it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't that color, you know.
Exactly.
It's such a standout color that it grabs you from across the parking lot seeing it. And
that's exactly what he said he wants. He's like, I want people to turn their heads when I drive into a building. And I'm like, well, that's a little arrogant, first of all, but second of all, we'll see if we can pull it off for you.
It's hard to do that and maintain like the tastefulness and the restraint that you guys do, to grab that attention without being a, hey, look at me over here.
That's you said it. That's absolutely the fine line that everybody or that I try to ride. And there's some guys who just they go balls out and just make a hey, look at me car, and it's not tasteful, and that's fine. You know, some people love those cars, but it's not me at all. And that's exactly what I tried to do. Was if he came to me and said, I want people to turn around and look at the car when it comes into a building, it's my job to make sure that that's not garish or, you know, ugly or kitschy or whatever you want to call it, you know, and make it actually tasteful and timeless. So hopefully we rode that line pretty well on this one.
Yeah, nailed it, man.
I think you've been building some badass shit for a long time, and I want to know if it's set in yet. I mean, you had yourself a hell of a fucking SEMA, man. I mean, congrats on the Trendsetter. I mean, the truck and Kobe's car. I mean, they got rave reviews. I mean, it was all you heard about everywhere you would go. You know, it was either the Wagoneer that Andy built or the South City, truck and car. And so, hell of a fucking SEMA, man. Has it sunk in yet?
No, not at all. Andy cleaned house so big that like even if you call me second, it's nothing in comparison. So
Cast a big
all
shadow.
I'm doing is looking way up at Andy.
Well, absolutely. You know, congrats, well deserved. The Trendsetter deal is a huge deal, and glad you could make it to the party on Thursday night. We had a lot of fun, and was proud to be able to. Even though that one didn't have our chassis under it, but you're a chassis customer. You know, some other ones do. So, but it doesn't really matter at that point if it's a fucking cool ass car. We needed you there for sure.
No, it's great to see, man. I mean, we're always talking about like what the next trend is, and I mean, shit, we got a couple other guys popping on the show, Andy and Dom Tucci, a Wagoneer and a 190 Mercedes from the 80s. So it's like everybody keeps talking about the trends going into like 80s cars and all this wild stuff and European stuff. And then there you are, a younger dude just cranking out like absolutely bitchin' perfect nostalgic hot rods. So obviously that's not going anywhere.
Nope,
or maybe it's coming back. You know,
Badass is never going anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just not.
Well,
if it's fucking badass, it's badass.
We talked about it a lot at the show. You know, the fact that I don't know that I necessarily, you know, I super appreciate getting the Trendsetter award. Like you said, it's awesome. And I wasn't expecting that, or, you know, but I don't know that I would have picked myself for being a trendsetter necessarily, except that by building nostalgia stuff and traditional stuff and bringing it to SEMA, I mean, I literally was one of the only people there. You know, you could count on one hand how many traditional cars there were there. Cody's Buick is beautiful and very traditional. But other than that, you know, but if that's me setting a trend, it's really a callback, but it's pushing things forward in terms of bringing nostalgia into the, you know, modern hot rodding world. And I'm all for it and very proud of that.
Well, it's absolutely a trendsetter because you're going against the grain. But more importantly, I mean, what we do is art, right? It's functional art, but it is art. We all are artists in our own way, and you know, trying to build what we have in our mind. But every artist, except the very first fucking dude that did a blood painting on a cave wall, every single artist after that was just doing an interpretation of something that they've seen in their head, and then they put it out their thing. So hats off to you of doing. There's been some bad interpretations, right?
Yeah.
There's some really bad interpretations.
A lot more bad than good.
Yeah. So you're fucking nailing it. I mean, it doesn't, any style that's out there came from fucking something. You know?
Yeah. No, that's, I mean, I'm a second generation hot rodder. I worked for Brizzio's, you know, working for a guy who came from his dad, Andy, that was all from the old days. I hung around with a lot of the older guys and liked customs, actually, like early custom history, you know, to start with. And when I was at Brizzio's, I restored all of the history cars that we took to like Pebble Beach that were, you know, cars that our customers bought that were old hot rods from the 40s, 50s, 60s. So I got to restore the Jack Calori 36, the Sam Barris Merc. I got to restore the a la carte. You know, just these crazy cars that you couldn't have told me I would have even been in the same room as them, let alone actually restoring them myself. So I just, you know, I came from that very traditional background, and clearly I'm running, you know, I don't know if it's just something that I can't let go of. You know, maybe I'm going to be old fashioned before my time, but yeah, I just, you know, I think all the brand new stuff, I love it, you know, and it's just not what I build necessarily. It doesn't mean I don't like it, but hopefully with some of the stuff that we're building, we're keeping the roots of why we're at where we're at still in the conversation. And I think that's super important, and hopefully that, you know, gets conveyed through the builds and through talking about them.
100%, dude. Stay true to yourself. Keep doing what you're doing. Again, hats off, congrats, cheers. I think we all want to have you out here and do a full length podcast in studio. So we'll try to have to set that up for the rest of the year.
I would love to do that because I'm at work right now and I can't really drink a whiskey. So if you
we'll set it up and do a long format in studio. That way we can actually cut loose. I'm sure you've got a shit ton of stories.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
a few we just made at SEMA.
Those are always some of the best.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Later, man.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
What's up, everyone? This is Jeremy from IRONCLAD. We are so excited for the new Sig Studios film featuring Kevin Holland, One Man, One Path, Many Missions. It's available now exclusively on Sig's YouTube channel, but if you haven't seen it yet, check out this preview here.
I had a lot of good memories right here. We really did.
They thought it was an army, and it was 60 of us. He goes, "You got a huge hole in your back." And I'm like, "Well, put something in it." You know, I mean, I got out because we weren't at war. We're at war. I'm going back.
You guys there?
We're here.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
Somebody had to get some tech help.
You can't
I
run
got
that
my
by
social
yourself.
coordinator helping me here. Yeah.
So it says right here, your name is Andrew Leach from California Auto Custom. So what can we do for you, Andy? Are you a newcomer to the industry? Haven't really
Yes,
heard.
first time caller, long time listener. Yeah.
Man, dude, I'm
You want to sing the birthday song?
I'm like intimidated. I feel like we need to do like a Wayne's World, like
Dude, I'm surprised we even
we're not
got.
worthy. We're not worthy.
I'm surprised we got the fucking interview. We had to go through like 3 handlers.
Don't make me deflate his head later.
Well, hell of a show, dude. Congrats for all your success, man. Much deserved.
Thank you. No, that SEMA was amazing, and I got to hand it to you guys. Your party was absolutely the party of the century. I mean, you guys built some killer cars, but they're one hell of a party as well.
We appreciate
I appreciate that, man. The first half was awesome. The second half gets a little, it's coming back to me bits and pieces, but
you watch the video.
It's fuzzy, but yeah, I'm like, oh fuck, that dude.
My wife has a video of you, Jeremy, drinking, and there's absolutely nothing in your glass, but you're just like,
hell yeah, every last drop, man. Every last.
Not gonna waste it.
I wisened up. I switched to water after probably midnight or so. I wasn't hurting as bad in the morning as you guys were.
I was good.
Yeah, well, the crowd at SEMA was definitely thinner Friday morning. So
well, I got there about maybe about 8:45 on Friday morning and come through, and I was like, yeah. I don't know if we take all the credit for it, but in my head, I did. I was like, yeah, we fucking broke SEMA the next morning.
Casey Wegner.
You know what was amazing was Eric that works for me wore the belt on the train going over the convention hall. And a lot of people get it, and a lot of people don't know what the hell that was. So the look he was getting was just fucking phenomenal.
Awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Man, old Casey Wegner put the nail in the coffin, though, because after the party, we're all standing around, and Casey comes over, and he's like, hey, got a bus? You guys want to go to the titty bar? Well, I suppose. Oh, Casey. Good time. Great partying, man.
That was, man.
Were you prepared for what was going to happen this week?
I was not. We just brought our best, and hey, it's SEMA. Whatever happens, happens. I don't like to go into that, like counting my chickens before they hatch or whatever.
Right.
And absolutely blown away with the Wagoneer, honestly. And it was so awesome because Travis, the owner, showed up like that morning of the party, and he had never seen the truck altogether. He saw it like 2 weeks before or whatever, maybe a week before. It was the classic, are you guys going to get this done or whatever? I'm like, oh yeah, we got this. Don't worry about it. And then he sees it sitting over there and he's like, holy shit, look at this thing. And, I was blown away how obviously we knew what we had there and what we finished, but we never knew what it would do there at SEMA against all the great cars that were there. So that was really cool. Really, really cool.
Yeah, he was a neat guy. I met him, and it seemed like he's not like your typical car guy, but he seemed like he really, really appreciated what you guys did there. But he was talking about how he's taking it. He's going to be taking it to the country club and
driving it, using it. He wants to use it. Yeah,
that's what it's for. So that's the funny thing is he stayed up all night after the party. We all bailed out because we had stuff to do on. Well, we bailed out when we got kicked out of their party, and then he just stayed up. He's like, man, I got like a 5:30 flight in the morning, so I'm just going to stay up and party or whatever. So he texts me a picture, like a selfie of himself in the airport wearing the necklace.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, seriously, congrats. I mean, you had obviously 2 very happy customers and 3 happy customers, but you walked away with like you were running. I mean, you had to be at a lot of different places. The Buick is awesome. We've talked about it, in detail on the podcast and privately as well. And the thing is amazing. On the Wagoneer, it was just one. Not that it's anything new. We kind of come to expect that from you. The level of fit and finish was absolutely amazing. Killer color palette, everything worked, but the amount of Easter eggs that were through there and the way things were done, it was just fucking cool.
Yep.
Like, and that's we try to explain to people, everyone's like, what is the criteria and what are you looking at? Well, we're not car show judges. We've done a shit ton of fucking car shows and we like fucking cars. And this is basically just that's what grabbed us at the moment. And it made us stay for the longest of just looking at stuff. And it puts a smile on our face and we're all, hitting each other in the arm, be like, holy shit, look at that. Holy shit, look at that. Damn, did you see this? And when a car does it that much, now all of them do it, right? All of the ones that were in the thing. But when a car does it that much and we're having to be like, all right, hey, guys, we got to finish this tonight. We've got to see some other cars. You kind of know at that point of, what's the winner. And hats off to you because it was just done right. I can't be like, man, the way you did that right there was better than anybody else has done.
But that's the sign of a great
Exactly.
car. It's not one, you don't have to put your finger on one thing. It's just the car, the whole
Right.
thing, total package.
Right. Well, thank you very much. And to hear that from you guys means a lot. It really does. Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather here after Vegas, but trying to regroup from all that shit. But no, it really means a lot from you guys. It really does. And like I said, we drove that thing in bare metal, and I have never been more impressed with a chassis than that thing. It is freaking phenomenal. So whatever you guys are doing, just keep doing it, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate
And add that surcharge to each chassis so we can keep that for parties.
We'll do it.
You taking off any jumps or anything yet?
Well, I guarantee it's going to happen.
We'll need videos of
I think
that.
that's the one I most wanted to drive. Just take out a SEMA, maybe pull a little Hoonigan, jump a
Yeah, just send it
loading
off.
ramp or
dock.
something.
Yeah.
Gee, that thing was so cool. It was the first vehicle, the first one of the best on RS vehicles that we went up to out of all the contenders. And it was almost like we were kind of like sold from the get-go. Everybody was just geeking out over it. And we went through, they're all badass cars.
Right.
And some stuff like, I mean, East Bay Muscle Cars Mustang is just like, it's next level, you know, as far as like fit and finish and detail. And it's so fucking cool. But at the same time, I mean, everybody, we sat there and we talked with the whole like Roadster shop gang, and everybody's like Wagoneer, you know, fucking Wagoneer,
Fired
like
off instantly.
100%.
Right.
So
I think it was just so striking, and like the color combo like grabbed you, and then all the little details, and then just being such a oddball, like different vehicle that you're not used to seeing, just grabbed everybody, pulled them in. That thing was sick.
Wasn't it kind of amazing, all the Wagoneers that were there this year too? I mean, there was like 3 or 4 really good ones.
Yeah.
And it just kind of the year of the Wagoneer, it's taken over or whatever.
yeah, we were just talking, you know, before you came on, you know, I have a feeling it's going to be like a decade now before the Wagoneers catch on. And it's going to be a lot like the Bronco situation. You know,
took
we were
that
talking,
long.
we were talking about how we're like, man, Andy built the first like seriously badass Bronco, and then nobody did one for like 10 years.
He got enough accolades at the show. He doesn't need another accolade for starting a trend. Dude, it's been fucking fun. Glad to call you friend. We'll be texting.
Likewise, guys.
We'll be texting in a few
Likewise.
days on Saturday. With Andy and me text a lot on Saturday. College football Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
following all the games and
Nebraska and Alabama, both big.
that and all the games. You know,
Well, Alabama's big, Nebraska not so much, but yeah,
we always like to watch Colorado get beat up on, so that's fun.
that's right.
But one question before you go. Did you lose any employees out there the next day? Friday is always a difficult one.
We lost a lot of good men out
We
there.
lost
Thursday night.
No, all my employees that were with me are probably more responsible than I am. So
Okay.
they all made the trek. And like I said, Eric carted that belt around all day and he loved it. And it was amazing because a lot of people in the industry get it and they know what that is. But then there was a few people that are just like, what the hell's with you and a wrestling belt, you know?
If you know, you
So
know.
it was pure comedy all day, but it was good stuff, man. So really appreciate it. You guys are great friends, and I know we got another killer one in the works here, and I got an email to respond to from you guys here, and we're really excited about that one for Travis as well, and can't wait for next year's party, man.
For
Can't
sure,
wait.
man. Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a car. Looking forward to it, dude.
See you soon.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
See you.
Take it easy.
I don't think this one's that bad. It's a little hot. The flavor's better though.
They're all
Not great.
no, they're all palatable. I don't know that.
Solid review.
I just this one reminds me a little bit of Weller 107, the red.
Really,
It does. A little bit hotter. Weeded bourbon.
that's weighted.
Mhm.
Let me see it. Yeah.
Dom,
What's up?
welcome to Oil and Whiskey, man.
Yeah,
welcome back
welcome
to
back.
Oil and Whiskey.
Yeah, recurring guest, right?
That's right.
Yeah. How
Thanks,
about
guys.
it?
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me on again.
We appreciate
Absolutely.
it, man. We were really looking for you know, some standouts from the SEMA shows. We're just kind of recapping here, and I got a little diverse group of you know, we had Andy Leach on here, who obviously, you know, kind of stole the show.
Four-wheel drive,
Four-wheel,
Wagoneer.
yeah,
We had Bill Ganahl from South City.
with some super traditional stuff, really
Yep.
bitching traditional hot rods, and then you're like the new dude bringing some fresh shit out there.
German Fordor.
Yeah, trying to do something different, you know?
Oh, I think you did. You're not trying. You did it.
How'd the show go, man? How was the car received?
It was awesome. It was as it always is, a bit of a whirlwind of a week, and but the reception of the car was honestly way more than what I even thought. We worked so hard the last few months trying to get it buttoned up and to get it to the show and to have people recognize it and give us props for it was really awesome.
The thing looked kick ass. Looked like one of those ones that you're just like, you want to beat on. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that you just want to drive and like be seen or have fun driving. It's like
just rip it around.
I want to be mean to it.
I've wanted to build one of those for a long time. They're badass. Cool to see someone in our industry take one to that level, and pretty wild motor choice for it. How'd you make that decision?
Probably because he wasn't going to mess with the Mercedes motor. Smart enough.
Well, that was the thing. We pretty much cut out everything Mercedes that was on that car. All the suspension and brakes and everything, driveline. Took all that out and tried to use stuff that we know. Like, you guys do that too. Same thing. Kind of use what you know and use what is reliable and stuff. And the EcoBoost is something that we messed with. We built a 32 coupe in 2019 for a giveaway car for Syracuse Nationals, and we used that motor and that fit that car and that body style pretty well. And we beat that car pretty good. Like it went to Ford out front and drifted with it and stuff. And so I kind of fell in love with the motor through that project. And I just see like huge potential with that platform. Like Ford made so many of those motors and they make a ton of power. And we're trying to work with a few companies to make it easier to swap into things, be able to put a manual trans behind it and, put bigger turbos and stuff on it. But sort of how I tied it together in my head was Evo 2s, the Mercedes, had a head designed by Cosworth. And Ford also has a huge history with Cosworth, through the rally team, through Formula One. And so that was my way of like tying the two companies together. Like, what if Mercedes and Ford back in the 90s got together through Cosworth and built this like one-off sort of wild car?
It definitely had that Cosworth dual overhead cam look under the hood, so that you nailed that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of flack for it from the Mercedes crowd, or they were just happy it wasn't an LS under the hood?
Do you think there's a big
that was
Mercedes crowd at SEMA? Really?
Yeah, most of them in the Toyo Tire booth, but
Well, I met I have her card right here. The executive director of the Mercedes-Benz Club of America. She came by the car.
Sounds like they fucking party.
And she loved it. So that was my way of saying that Mercedes people liked it. So
sweet. So
it works for me.
What got that project started? Was that something you built for yourself, or where'd the inspiration come from? What was the whole vision and idea behind that?
So I've had the car for 7 years. I came across an article probably on like Motor Trend or something like that one of the Evo 2s, one of the real ones, was being put up for auction, and I had never seen the car before. It was so like weird looking and had these wild flares and a huge wing, and I saw the price that they were expecting for it. I'm like, what the heck is this car? Like, it's going for $300,000 and it's like a little sedan. So I did more research and then went on Craigslist. This was back when we used Craigslist, and found a car that was listed for $800. So I'm like, sold. I went down, I talked the guy down $500, and then I went and picked it up, and it sat in my parents' driveway for like 5 years before I could do anything with it. And then when COVID hit, I was like, I just have to do something to just jumpstart this project and get it going.
Was mom getting pissed that it was taking up space in the driveway? She's like, Dom, get this goddamn car out of the driveway for Christ's sake.
It just looked terrible.
If it was in our mom's garage, hit it driveway, she would have backed into it.
Yeah.
She hit everything we owned.
Luckily, they kept it safe in their driveway. It ended up going to my house garage for like a year and a half, but I ordered the body kit from the UK. That took a couple months to get here. And like that sort of started me like, all right, we're going to actually do this. And then Recaro came on board, my dad just wanted to get me a set of seats for it, and they were like, just send in a sponsorship thing and just see what we can do. They ended up supporting it, and then I'm like, all right, maybe we can actually make this happen if I get enough companies on board and I get enough partners. Because obviously there's no budget with it. It's just my car, and so using SEMA as the first stop, we had like 32 companies on the project supporting it in some way. So
it's awesome, man.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Was how like the reaction on it? Did you come across any like potential customers, people who were like, man, I'd love you to build me something like this? Do you feel like those cars or that era of car is going to fetch like the value or attract the customer base?
I think we'll see. Like at SEMA, I mostly talk to people that like had them and were sort of building them themselves. But yeah, I think we'll see down the road if that sort of changes the clients that are contacting us, to try to do some more either 80s or 90s stuff or even more European stuff. I think that those era cars are getting so popular right now, and so I think it was a good time for that car to come out. Awesome,
man. Well, kick-ass fucking car.
Thanks.
Before you go, what was the standout to you at SEMA? What was a car or a build or something that you were excited about or didn't know was going to be there?
Actually, the Radford stuff, the Radford race car that Tanner Faust drove up Pikes Peak, and then they had the road car there. I just think that they absolutely killed it with the design of that car. I think they nailed it, and then the race car is just wild, and so that was pretty cool to see. And then through Battle of the Builders, I actually got to know Tanner a little bit because he like hosted it, so spent like the day with him, and so that was pretty cool too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that race car is wild, man. So badass. Interesting company. I don't know a lot about them, but it's some cool stuff.
It's funny, you're seeing like a lot more of those Restomod companies pop up, like sort of taking like the Singer approach and doing it with all different models. So it's cool to see like a higher end, end result.
Yeah.
Done on these cars.
I saw some of those Restomod companies pop up. There's like a guy that's going to take in a 6th gen Camaro and turn it into a Chevelle.
Oh, I saw it. He did a good job of making it.
You could turn them into Firebirds too, and Trans Ams.
Would they be as equally bad if you did them in Firebirds and Trans Ams?
Stop. I was just bringing it up. How diverse the.
Yeah. I think they have a Challenger one too that you can do.
You can almost. The thing is, when you see it, you're like, oh my god, is that a new one or is it an old one? It's hard to tell.
I had to Google it to find out it was a Camaro underneath.
Didn't have to Google it that it looked like shit.
Hey, come on now.
What?
This isn't a safe space, Josh. This is about being inclusive. We're talking about trends and SEMA.
You brought it up.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, moving on. Good job on the Mercedes. Dude, awesome build. I loved it, man. I really dig it. I know Phil really digs that thing because I know you've been wanting one of those forever. So
yeah, he was creaming his jeans all.
Hit him up. You might have your first customer right here.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to touch one for a while after what we went through to get that done.
Yeah, they're badass. Like you said, it's cool to see kind of guys breaking out and getting into some of the later year cars, then getting into some of the European stuff. Just keep the hobby moving into different genres and exploring different cars.
Yep, nice job, dude.
Dude, congrats on all the accolades, all the awards. Great seeing you out there, you and your dad as well. And
you guys too.
Yeah. We'll send you the bar tab. Y'all drank a fucking shit ton, man. I'm just telling you. I kept track of it too.
I'm still trying to recover from like Thursday. I don't know. How you guys?
I will see you soon.
All right.
Thanks,
man.
Guys, man. Take care.
Talk to you.
Bye-bye.
That was 3 heavy fucking hitters.
Yeah. You're so judgmental. You know that?
I'm not judgmental. I'm just opinionated. I just threw my opinion out there. Okay. I apologize. I should be more inclusive like you.
Yeah, he danced around it for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I just brought it up. I just brought it up that I saw it. That's all. That's all I did.
Because you've never made any wild, outlandish criticisms on this show.
Just about you, mostly. I mean,
nobody else.
No,
Bad Chad?
one time. Yeah, and I feel bad about it, honestly.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
It doesn't look like you feel bad.
Oh, I do. I get what he's doing.
So you're changing. So this is the new Jeremy, huh?
Yeah.
You're all inclusive, Jeremy.
Uh-huh.
How inclusive?
He's prepping
Most
for
of-
2024.
Yeah, he is.
Most of the way.
Most of the way inclusive. Oh, what a fucking SEMA recap, man.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's cool, like
Heavy hitters.
the heavy hitters and how radically different the vehicles are that they brought,
Diverse.
and all so damn cool, And a young dude. I mean, how old do you think Dom and Bill? Bill's young.
I think
guy.
Dom's probably 16.
Yeah.
And Bill's probably 26,
No, but Bill's could be in his early 30s.
probably.
Dom's probably
I don't know.
mid 20s, late 20s.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Young dudes, but
half your age either way.
that's
All of them younger than us.
yeah. I mean, that's a given with you, right?
You're not that far behind me. So
Yeah.
it's
Anyway,
just like 2 years.
What I was gonna
Right.
say, another neat thing about the show, I think you guys could probably agree because I saw you guys chatting with a lot of those dudes. Is there's a lot of young guys,
Fucking shit ton.
a lot of young guys and a lot of like talented dudes, and it's the question always comes up. It's like, where the hell's this industry going? Or like, man, this is gonna die. There's like nobody coming into this industry. I think there was a low, for a while, and it seems like the feeling is that it's definitely coming back. Like I don't know that it went away. It just you didn't have these young guys coming up, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just it was that generational gap. Like you had
Right.
a window until
I don't think
some hot rodders kids got old enough to start doing it. But you got a lot of guys coming up
I'm gonna
the ranks.
I'm gonna take a different angle on it, right?
Of course you are.
No, and not what I'm saying. I don't think that there was ever really a huge gap in it. We were just not in a position to be approached in that way, right?
But you didn't see him either, man. Like,
we were along with, and right and stuff like that. And this is going to sound really, really bad, and I don't mean it to sound that way at all. I promise you.
I doubt it will.
Yeah, say it anyways.
I'm not at all putting ourselves in that league of some of the names that I'm fixing to talk about, right? So you're Bobby, and stuff like that. I remember very vividly at being 19, and talking to Bobby Alloway for the very first time, loving to run up to him and stuff like that, right? We had that party all week through SEMA and stuff. We met some really fucking kick-ass young builders, right? And a lot of people coming up, hey, man, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm doing this from this shop, whatever. Here's my business card. Here's my car. We take a look at that stuff. And then, like, leaving it was the moment where I was like, fuck, I'm old like Bobby.
oh, so that's I find like that's disrespectful to Bobby.
Yeah.
Is that
No, Bobby
that
knows he's old.
okay?
Yeah,
But not like old like you.
Got it.
you get what I'm saying.
Kind of, sort of.
The elder statesman.
But at the same time, like in that era, there was like clearly two groups. There was like, Bobby and the legends, and they were all doing their thing. But there was a ton of young dudes. I mean, there was like Jesse Greening, who's a little bit older, but Troy was out there from BBT, and there were so many Goolsby. And I mean, it was a big group that was. It was obvious. It was apparent that there were younger.
Second wave coming.
Yeah, that there was that second wave of like guys in their late 20s, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like you haven't
This is the
seen that.
next
yeah,
wave.
and now you're finally getting it.
Right.
Which is great. I mean, it's great for
I
the
think it's
industry.
fucking awesome. I mean, I bet you it was probably at least a dozen brand new faces that met young guys starting to shop, been in business a couple of years, built some cool cars, stuff like that. And some of the stuff you see, you're like, holy fuck, that shit's cool as shit.
Yeah.
I think they're all like most of the ones we talked to as well were pretty like humble and asking for advice and trying to like
It was,
get some info instead of being like the cocky, arrogant, look at me, I'm the shit type thing, which was
That's
really
been a
cool, refreshing to see. That,
big difference over the last 15, 20 years. So to your point of the gap.
Yes.
Now it's a.
And it's making it easier. Like some of those dudes came up and they've got kind of the right idea out of the gate. They're not getting ready to make all the really bad choices and mistakes like many of us made. And you got like, Rogers out there doing his class, and a lot of these guys are diving into that,
Is it fair though, if you look back about the fact that they can come in and start building, cars like they're doing now with the products that are available, and they don't have to deal with that customer and build that OZ rods, coast to coast body.
I wouldn't wish it on anybody to have to build an OZ rods.
And we all had
coast
to
coast. You did.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, you look like your kids, you know, you want them to do great things and you want them to not have to go through this, you know, the struggles and things you did. But
right.
No, I think it's cool. It's great if you can like pass on like be vocal about some of your mistakes and some things that, you know, maybe these dudes shouldn't waste years doing to kind of propel them. I
think we should start being more vocal on this podcast about mistakes and stuff and vendors that you should just stay away from. What would be some of those vendors that you
That's not where I was going. I was kind of going down the road of like, maybe we should have a few of these dudes on the podcast, you know, some of these young guys.
Right.
And
I think advice and show them the experience, get them a step or two ahead based on all the shit that we screwed up over the years.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think we should pull any punches though. If we've got the advice to give, I'm not being a smart ass. I'm being serious. Like you think if there was said companies that we all have used in the past, and then you were like, you know what? Get it the fuck out of the shop. That should never be back in this shop ever again. If somebody would have came around and been, hey, dude, I'm just gonna let you know that shit ain't gonna fucking work, and it never will work.
What would be that number one thing you'd want to
Well,
steer
we'll
clear?
we'll get into that.
Like young builder, young superstar builder. He's got so much potential, right? He's like a little caterpillar, right? And he's gonna turn into a fucking butterfly.
Maybe tonight's
okay.
Not
What's
all right? Maybe
talk a big game.
What's the thing
big game
that you're like little caterpillar?
Don't wear a Florida Georgia Line shirt on air.
I was doing a fan, and you know, he got me this shirt. The least I could do is wear it.
It's not the first time you've worn it.
No, it's brand new. I just went and got out of the package.
You know,
Teddy brought it.
You know damn well that this evening, that's getting a deep cut on the sleeve. The sleeves are coming off.
That's a Sunday Josh outfit.
That is a Sunday. Oh, I wish the viewers could see Sunday Josh.
Y'all, first of all, y'all are welcome, right?
Forgetting.
I did this strictly for you guys.
Did you?
100%. You think I wanted to wear an FGL shirt?
Absolutely.
I'm going to somehow snap. I'm going to go on a covert mission because you live right down the street. And I'm going to sneak over there and capture Sunday morning Josh in action, his natural habitat.
Sunday winter Josh or Sunday summer Josh?
Summer
Josh.
Summer Josh. Nobody wants to see your pathetic, like, one-hand driveway shoveling with a cigarette in the other. You know? People don't need to see that. The toboggan or a winter hat, as us Midwesterners call it.
Yeah, that's winter Josh.
Yeah. Oh, this was fun.
Summer Josh is pretty cool, though. Summer Josh looks like a dude you want to party with.
Yeah, Summer Josh, you want to go out on the river with.
Yeah,
you know?
you're going to bum a cigarette from Summer Josh.
SEMA recap 2023. Badass cars, badass party. Roadster Shop did it big.
Young builders.
Young builders
awesome
are doing
builders.
it big. I think that we're going to be okay, judging by the young builders that we met. And let's face it, some of these old builders ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
You think Andy's done? Huh?
What? No, hell no. No, Andy's got something in the works that's...
And Jesse's like 50-something years old. He ain't done.
Jesse's like Benjamin Button. I swear. That fucker, he ages back.
I bet you shave that beard, though. You shave that beard,
so?
he looks like 80.
We should hold him down and shave it, you think?
He's got a Just for Men sponsorship because there is not a gray anywhere.
Oh,
yeah, there's no way that's all natural. Yeah. There's no way.
Good genetics, though. I mean, Dad's fucking running strong.
Yeah.
Handing down some good genetics to Jesse.
Have you seen Dad's new shoes?
Yeah, of course.
You seen him in person?
Not
I haven't seen him in picture.
I don't know that I want to see him in person.
In person, pretty cool. Thanks again, everybody, for listening to Oil and Whiskey. We'll be back next week with probably a new guest and hopefully a better show, at least from these two.
And probably another Florida Georgia Line t-shirt.
Come on, Josh.
Be a little more nicer, a little more inclusive. It's about to be 2024. All right? Think about that.
Got it.